Let's see.
Ta-da!
Yay! Woo!
Back in business, people.
Alrighty, guys. So, first, of course, we have to discuss the content. Let's begin with the one of the videos that I really liked was the how to use others' feedback.
Yes.
And I really, as I was watching it, I wanted to start it off with a question, which makes me have to start off with a quote. So in the video, she said that as humans, we think if I can find something wrong with the feedback, then I can set it aside, relax, and go on with my life without having to think about it. How many times have you guys ever experienced that, or have you ever experienced that?
Well, yeah, most definitely. I think, even with constructive criticism, because, even you're expressing something that's personal to you. And anything that's personal to you, you kind of guard tightly, whether it's a writing or a painting, or whatever it is. If it's something that you created, like you're going to be, you were super involved in the process. So, yeah, I mean, you have different feelings that anybody else, will have about whatever it is. So when somebody critiques you, you kind of take offense to it. You may not mean to, but I mean, that's just a personal. I think in the reading, that was one of the tips. It was not to go with your first reaction when you receive any type of feedback or whatever. So. Yeah, so definitely. I got better, earlier on in life. It was tough to take criticism, but I definitely appreciate it. It helps me. I don't have to work as hard because when people point out, holes that I may have in a paper or whatever it may be, then that's the stuff that I don't have to look for. Somebody else helped me out, so I use it in that facet now.
Yeah.
Good response for sure. I think the biggest thing that I had to get over was that they're just helping me out. Like, try your hardest not to take offense to any constructive criticism, and like they're just helping you out because we don't always know what we're doing or what we're saying. So it's like to just get over that bump, to grow and learn, and it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
what about you?
Sure, definitely.
Oh, no. I was just asking Eden what about her, but then you can go first, and then she can go last.
Okay. I mean, like, kind of what y'all said, the constructive criticism, it's hard at first because you kind of take it as an offense to you. It's towards something you were very involved in or something you've done. But then you realize that they're growing pains, I mean, you want to grow and become better at what you do or who you are, and that's kind of part of it. If no one ever critiques you, you don't know what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, where you need to improve, anything like that. You just kind of stay on the same path the whole time.
Yeah. Personally, I know that this is something I've struggled with a lot more in the past. Not being able to take feedback and then not receiving it well and, giving into my first reaction. But in this whole process of learning how to be a better leader, I really feel like these courses and like the content in them are helping me transition into not only being a better leader, but just being a better person and accepting these kinds of things, accepting the help from others and accepting that, I'm not perfect and I am going to make mistakes and being able to own up to that and not only admit that, hey, like, I need help, but like to myself, but also to others. So now I'm really good at being one of the first people to say, hey, I messed up. Like, can you help me? Like, what can I do better? How can I do it better? And I found it really awesome that she said people who find themselves asking for feedback more often can you know, they what's the word?
Self-awareness?
I
don't know.
English is hard, guys. They report higher satisfaction with their job.
Okay.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah, I think, oh, go ahead, Matt, were you going to say something?
Oh, no, you're good.
I was just going to say, I think, you know, nowadays, like, you know, with the whole social media thing, that there's so much pressure created by society not to mess, everybody's so scared to mess up because they feel they're going to be, you know, criticized on it or it's going to appear on social media. And so I think it hinders a lot of people who would have went out to actually accomplish something because they're scared to even try it because they're scared that a friend or somebody is going to find out about it and they're going to have to explain that. But I mean, making a misstep is part of the process of completing a goal or a task. Like you got to push forward, and when it's something you've never done before, you're going to make mistakes, but that's part of the learning process.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now I have a quick question for everybody. Since it's difficult to receive feedback from other people, I also think it's also challenging giving it.
Yep.
So once upon a time, I made an employee cry because, yeah, that was my bad, and I totally own up to it. But I tend to tailor feedback specifically for that person now. Like I changed my leadership style to fit the needs of that because of that experience I had.
Yep.
So some people, you know, it's a hands-on experience or training. Other people, they just want you to tell them like straight up, this is how it is. And other people needs a little bit of sugarcoating. So it was that initial experience that I made somebody cry. I felt so bad that now I take my communication and my feedback to that specific employee. So there's no more crying. So yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I hear that. On that. Oh, I have to do this. Recently, and it's really hard to do it and really hard to swallow, but you know, kind of growing. We had the company, and when she had a discussion with my manager, she told him that part of it was because of me and other supervisors, which I found ludicrous. I'm like, I'm one of the most understanding people I know. I think I have a very soft approach, blah, blah, blah. But apparently she felt that I was constantly singling her out. And, you know, like she just didn't appreciate the way that I gave her feedback. And so that really made me, like Belinda, like it really made me think and have to learn how to conform my feedback to other people. And so I'm getting better at it. Since then, I've like verbalized to people like, hey, if I'm being mean, like let me know. I'm not trying to be. Like this is just how I've learned. So this is how I give my feedback. If it's not working, like let me know. I can practice it. And it's been working a lot better to the point where one week my manager was telling me, hey, you're not doing so great. Like you really need to work on this or we're going to have to find you a new store. To this week, it's like, hey, your interview for assistant manager is scheduled for this month. And it's like, wait, what? So,
no, that's pretty awesome. Progress. But you had to learn. You know, you had to go through those tough times in order to get to that assistant manager interview. So it's definitely part of the process. What I will add to that is there are times, well, it's two parts to that. So yes, if we have time and we're sitting down having a one-on-one, you know, I try to praise, you know, before I give any suggestions. So kind of open it up, say, yeah, you know, you did this, this, and this, and this great. And here are some suggestions. You know, maybe you can do this or you can do that. And I just kind of leave it up, you know, to them to take what they got from my message and, you know, kind of apply it to their work ethic. But then there is another time say like with you eating, like if you're working and you know you guys are getting slammed, you don't always have time to coddle somebody. Like sometimes you got to say, hey, I need you to do this right now. We can talk about it later. And the delivery is not always, you know, as finessed as you would like it to be. But, you know, in situations like that, then afterwards, you know, I may pull a person over and say, hey, you know, we're just busy and I just kind of needed you to do this, but this is what I was saying. I didn't mean it, you know, to be harsh. Definitely try to talk to them in their language. But I mean, there are times when you don't have time to deliver that that soft, you know, nice and entitled message that people want from time to time. So yeah.
That's wonderful feedback.
Yeah.
I think to go along with that, about giving feedback and you know, what we do with every new soldier, or at the beginning of every fiscal year, we do initial counseling statements. And what this does, it's kind of a guideline to follow of certain standards and procedures, you know, and something that everybody has to go by, everybody needs to live up to. You know, you either meet it or you exceed it. And then every quarter, we review it with everybody. You know, saying, hey, you know, you're doing great here. This is where we need to work on. And then with that, we come up with a plan on how to work on those deficiencies so that they can start meeting the standard. And then to go along with that paperwork, you know, kind of like if someone ever feels like they're getting singled out, you know, because we're constantly coming at them saying, hey, you know, you need to start stepping it up here. We also have like negative counseling statements, you know, to go with the initials. So we have paperwork to go off of, say, hey, you know, these were the standards. You signed this saying that you knew, and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you know. So the whole feeling of getting singled out, you know, kind of gets combated there. So
Yeah. No,
just throwing a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I'm ever lucky enough to get my own store, I'll definitely implement something like that. But right now, being under someone else's leadership and having to conform to their ways of leading, you can't always do those types of things. So you just gotta bite your tongue, nod your head, and do as they don't like.
Yeah.
And sometimes we've got to pick and choose our own battles.
Yeah. And you
What was
definitely,
that?
We have to pick and choose our battles, like if something's worth our time and effort, or if we can bear with it and let it slide until something else.
Definitely.
yeah. And then you definitely just sometimes have to learn how to be a great follower in order to be able to lead. So it's just part of the process. You know,
Yes.
anytime you're doing something new, it's always nice to have that, the luxury of having a mentor. I know, you know, some days you rather not have the mentor because it may not be going your way, but, you know, having someone to guide you through that tough new terrain that you're going through is nice. And, you know, once you do get that store, you'll be able to look back and like, oh man, I'm so glad I went through that. So now I know how to deal with this, and I know how to treat, you know, the new mentees or the new assistant managers who are striving to be store managers. So yeah, if you're continuing on the path what you're doing now, if you're making it to assistant manager already, I think you'll be pretty good on the way to getting your store.
Yeah. Good luck on the interview coming up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Supposedly, it's a temporary position, and what I've been told by my district manager and his boss, the regional director, is, and I quote, "This is temporary, and hopefully within a year of your promotion, you'll have your own store."
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it
It's
sounds like it's only temporary if you don't deliver. It sounds like if you deliver, you're pretty much going to be there.
Yeah, you're set.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the same thing they've told the other managers or people working for it, but yeah. So that's pretty exciting. But
Yeah.
back to the material.
One day at a time.
Right?
Oh yeah. Today I'm just trying to get through today.
Yeah, there you go. That's the start.
So, did anybody have anything that they took away from Power of Introverts or the Power of Vulnerability?
Oh, the vulnerability one was my favorite.
Why?
Just because people should embrace vulnerability, like she's talked about. I liked how when she said that, you know, who's wholehearted, you know, like the three, I guess, characteristics of that would be like courage, compassion, and having a connection. So I thought that was really powerful in that. But I think we should do something that we're not particularly comfortable with or confident in, and to embrace that. I think it goes back to the taking feedback well too. Like if we do something we're not comfortable with or fond of, let's just take it as it comes and then seek the feedback and grow from there. So I really like that TED Talk. I can't even pronounce her name. Like Bernie, or yeah, but that was a good talk. I like that one.
Yeah, that was good.
All right.
Anyone else in any of the videos? How about the articles?
Characteristic of employee feedback. I think we kind of touched on a lot of that stuff just with your opening question, Eden. I mean, as far as good feedback to, you know, just be specific. Good feedback addressing issues and not necessarily the person, just small things. I think we kind of touched on all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, jumping into the chapters, then we were doing for you guys chapter 10 and 11, 10 being subgroups and multi-teams.
Yep.
Where do we want to start with that?
I think I'll start with Tim. Was the one that started with the story about Apple. Is that right?
Yes.
Talking about their secret departments and how you know, they keep it under wraps and have centralized management systems, and how it kind of increases team competition, or, you know, in group competition. Everyone's competing against themselves. So you know, I think that healthy competition can be good, because that means you're making progress. Like we can all be on the same team, and if we're all working for the same goal, but if, you know, everybody's in competition, it's going to drive the overall delivery of the team. Because if Matt's pushing, I'm pushing, Eden's pushing, Allie's pushing, like if everybody's pushing, because we're competing with each other, just imagine what the end goal will be. So I think that's definitely, you know, as long as everybody's comfortable with that, that can be a good strategy. Everybody's not comfortable with competition on the same team.
Yeah. I think it drives creativity too.
Yes.
Like we all don't want to have the same like way to go about things, so it'll be like, hey, let me do something different, and then between the friendly competition, groups would perform higher or exceed standards because of that.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, I think on having to deal with that, I've always experienced like competition between people on the same team to be positive, because, you know, if Belinda's over here, you know, acing every single test, and I'm like, oh, you know, I've gotten a B on a test, like it personally, it would motivate me to try harder. Whereas some people might be discouraged and be like, wow, Belinda's perfect, and like I'm not even going to bother because she's over here scoring hundreds and I'm like barely on chapter 1. I feel like it's just a better motivator. Like,
yeah,
it is.
it's like a driver almost, like the drive to do better. Yeah. By the way, I didn't ace all the quizzes.
no, trust me, neither did I. Copies of more
I'm
than
so
one.
can drop 3.
I'm so appreciative that she made that one an extra credit.
Oh, yeah.
And that there's another extra credit option.
Some of the questions were so hard. I was
They
like,
really are.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it could be A or B.
Yeah.
eeny, miny, mo.
Yeah.
Man, this has been a lot harder than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
I I like it though. I like that we don't have to post a discussion and then respond to like 2 or 3 peers discussion.
Oh,
So
yes.
I think like that part I love.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, great. Yeah, I see you use this word. Let me define it for you. And those are my great comments.
Yep.
um, okay, I'm pretty sure it's the same as like for my book as it would have been for your guys's. Mine is inner team relations, and I really like how it splits it up into 3. There's the individual self, the relational self, and the collective self. Was that this chapter for you guys?
I remember looking at something like that.
I hope so.
I think so.
And my,
I remember if that was the same chapter.
I know we've talked about that before,
Yeah.
but a lot of my books, I've noticed there are what you guys have in one chapter. Mine is split into like 2, or one of my chapters is split into 2 different chapters for you guys.
Yeah.
I want to say that's in chapter 11, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Kind of like meld together after a while. So
Yeah. I really liked just that it really broke it down for me.
let's hear an example. Like, what do you mean? Like,
Well, like the relational self. It explains that as the relational self is achieved by assimilating with significant others, i.e. relationship partners, parents, friends, siblings, etc., and is based upon personalized bonds of attachment. People who are high in relational identity engage in more pro-social behaviors with work group members, even from different groups. Like a lot of the people that I've seen or that I've gotten close with and like gotten to know don't necessarily fall under, you know, those in high relational identity or with high relational identity. They're like, they think more of as the individual, like, you know, single children. And they're like, oh, well, I was the only one, so I've always been this way. But they're very outgoing. Or like, you know, people who prefer to work alone, like myself. I prefer to work alone. Yet I feel that in this group with these particular individuals, I flourish. And so just like being able to draw lines and like really define what it is that takes to identify these, like yourself in these different selves, like was fascinating. If that makes sense. I feel like I'm rambling again.
No.
no.
I get it. Yeah, I think what works for our Team 9 is that I think it seems that way, is that everybody's kind of independent. So we're kind of autonomous. You know, we do our meeting and then it just kind of flows into the next meeting because everybody's independent. Nobody's really super needy. So, you know, if there's something to, you know, as we've had the few small hiccups, somebody just picks it up and like, hey, I noticed this, I'll take care of it. Just like today with Eden, it's like, hey, we haven't gotten our grade. I'll take care of it, and that's that. So it works. Everybody chips in and kind of does that. So, you know, if our team was comprised of someone who was a bit more needy, who really needed to work as a team, then it would kind of change our dynamic. But with the 5 of us, everybody just kind of does their thing and gets the work done, and we show up and do meetings.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else in chapter 10?
They mentioned size again.
Yes.
I think that was throughout the whole chapter, how the size of the subgroup or whatever group specifically they're talking about, it's important. Like no more than like 2 of 6 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I never really thought that was a factor in like teamwork and everything like that, but it really makes sense because, you know, to have that.
I like how just about every other chapter has said 3 to 5, and this one's 2 to 6. Strength or growing. What is it? 2.
Yeah.
Matt, what were you going to say?
Oh, well, actually, I was going to go into the section under intergroup relations, and it was in groups and out groups. Talking about how team members can categorize themselves and others in terms of in groups and out groups, both being within a given team or being in the same team. So basically, in short, it's kind of like one of those "Are you one of us or one of them?" kind of scenarios. Like in our platoon that we have 2 squads, and we're all diesel mechanics. Then our 3rd squad, they're electronic repair. Then we have generator mechanics. We're all in the same platoon. We're all in the same team, but yet we're still split up into groups, sections, things like that. And so something like that I was really able to relate to, and I knew just what it was talking about immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do y'all experience the same effect? How do you relate to it?
I think
Go ahead, Belinda.
so at my work, there's the general manager, the store manager, and then after them, there's 14 other managers. And each department has 3 to 4 managers, and they own that department. So there's the offsite where they take in all the product shipment, process it, and send it to the store. There's the sales and service department, which is my department. We lead the sales floor in terms of goals, productivity, contests, customer service, etc. There's always the cash wrap, which they take care of all the cashiering needs, make sure all the items are being run up correctly, etc. And then there's back of house, which they organize the product that's being received by offsite and then put it on display on the sales floor. So yes, we're all individualized, but we work together cohesively to make the team work. Like for example, if the cashiers bring up the wrong product, it's gonna affect the back of house team because then the inventory counts are wrong. And then if I give the wrong prices on the sales floor, the cashiers, have, the little mini complication from that. So we all work together, like each department has an integral part of another department. So like the subgroups make up the big group.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to find a way to make this meeting longer.
Oh, I think since we have the free accounts, it's going to cut off, and then we're just going to have to sign back on and then record it again. So
Yeah.
the two parts like we've been doing, because I don't think any of us purchased the professional account, right, for Zoom?
No, I didn't.
It made
Well,
you.
do we know how did you guys get it to be longer?
It was like free upgrade. A window should pop up within the remaining time to be like, try the free unlimited minutes for once or whatever.
Okay. Well, I'm just waiting for that. If not, we should be able to just join back in.
I think so, through the same link that you sent out.
Allie
I
said.
pushed a bunch of buttons while I was trying to make it longer. And I think I may have fixed the thing so that once we re-enter, I can
record.
I think. I'm not sure.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Allie says she's still at the doctor's office, so it doesn't look like she's gonna make the meeting, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh.
I hope she's okay. She's at the doctor's.
Yeah, me too. see if I want to make it small.
You are okay.
Wait. Matt was asking about your workplaces and like are in group and out group.
Yeah.
Personally, we have like 3 levels of Starbucks within my store. There's the baristas, the shift supervisors, and our store manager. And within my group of the shift supervisors, my store has 6 of us, I believe. 7. There's 7 of us, which is like 2 more than the average store. Average store has like 4 to 5 supervisors, and you have, with that many, you have 2 dedicated to, or 1 dedicated to opening, 1 dedicated to closing, 1 to mid, and you have 2 that are generally pretty flexible. But having so many, we have 2 dedicated per shift and 1 that should be flexible, but she's a little more towards the evening most of the time. And currently, with the makeup of the group, I feel like I'm more of an out group. And that's because of the whole trying to get promoted thing. So they'll hold me to a higher standard than they hold themselves. And because of that, it's kind of alienated me from my peers. And I'll try to joke around with them. Like, they'll be joking around about, oh, we're going to throw this bag of caramel at you or whatever to one of the baristas. And I'm like, oh, I want to do that too. Ha, ha, ha. But they're like, no, you want to be ASM. You can't do that. Like, you have to be professional. Or, oh, Eden, you can't joke around and say that you just work here because you want to move up. And I'm like, but you guys say it. Why can't I?
Well,
So,
I think,
it's okay.
yeah, and that's something else.
Huh?
When you get there, it'll be okay. Then you can start joking and having fun.
When I get there, then I'll tell them, hey guys, that's not the attitude we take.
No, I was just gonna say that's when you're promoted to a leader position, it kind of puts a strain on prior relationships. When you become an individual's boss, it kind of changes the dynamic that you have, and because now you have more responsibilities, and the things that you used to do you can't really do. Like they were saying, oh, you're gonna be manager. Well, you are. So now it's like it's not that you can't still be friendly with those guys. It just kind of changes the dynamic of the relationship, and then you get in those situations where some people can't handle, Ethan got a promotion, like she thinks she's better than us now. Like that happens, and it sucks because you lose those friendships. Even though you work side by side for a year, you wind up losing, friendships and work relationships because of that, but that's just part of leadership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
So we have 2 minutes.
Did that window ever pop up?
Do we want to start on chapter 11?
Yeah. Or, yeah. Anything else that stood out in this chapter, you guys?
At this point, I feel like it's just a lot of repeating itself.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let's move on.
All right.
So, chapter 11 was team networking and social capital. James, do you want to start us off with the little story?
Oh, yes. Well, I think we're going to probably cut off. Do we just want to end and then come back and start? We got less than a minute.
We want to just try and exit then, and I'll come back.
No.
Yeah, we'll just come right back.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. See you guys soon.
Okay.